My favourite moment to date is probably joining Gloucester right now because of how the squad, the players, the coaches have all received me and how I've warmed to them, and just the combination, the way it's working. I think it's got something which is very exciting. So the moment I'm in right now, I'm very excited about. I think any sport, anyone who's passionate about what they do, it does kind of overtake their lives. But that doesn't mean it's a bad thing, It's just, you need to make sure you're doing the right things to make sure you can perform at your best. And yeah, I do watch a lot of rugby, but that's not through enjoyment. That's because I'm trying to learn or see how I can get better. I watch a lot of Australian Rugby League, the NRL, Super League, just because I think there's always things we can take from it. So I guess you speak to people about what I'm like, that it does overtake my life quite a lot, but that's just because I'm looking at ways to get better and improve. But I think I still feel very lucky to be doing it, and when I'm 35, 36, then my life will be taken over by something else. Yeah, I think it's just finding small wins, It's not always about making that huge line break. It's about, hopefully, the way I view the game, if I can get it across in training to the rest of my teammates and they can see how I'm looking at it, then hopefully it'll allow them to understand why I'm trying to do what I'm trying to do and why I'm trying to put them in those certain places. Because if we make it constantly challenging for defences, then there's no way you can actually analyse a team, because you're constantly just attacking the space, whether that be in tight, out wide, in behind, whatever it might be. I think rugby as a whole, as a sport, from a young age has been very structured, and I've come across, you've got to play to a certain pattern or a routine. And I think the key for me and my philosophy, what I believe, I'm not saying that I'm right, but my philosophy is you give a team a framework of understanding where they need to go so they can fall into position, and then it allows the key decision makers within it to make the right decisions to make sure that team keeps evolving, keeps going forward. And you can always go back onto errors and things like that, and you can look at timing of run, you can look at the decision made and the intent that was behind it. So those things that I drive pretty hard on training. I don't really have that much of a routine. It's pretty relaxed up until the game day. Do a few exercises before kick-off, about 6 hours before kick-off, depending on what time the kick-off is, just to get my blood flowing, because then later on I feel like I move better, especially when it's a night game. And if it's an afternoon game, I do then exercises around 9, 10 a.m. But I've tried not to have too much of a specific routine, because I find it's almost impossible to replicate the same routine every game. I remember watching one of my best mates when we were like 14. His favourite Ryan Giggs t-shirt he used to wear under every game got ripped and thrown away. He was like distraught, he couldn't play rugby again. He was just like, what do I do? Like, he could play rugby again, he was fine, but just that moment made me think, I just don't want to have any like superstitions or anything. What goes through my head? I'm just seeing if any extra defenders fold. As I'm getting it, it's just the assessment of trying to make the right decision. It's tough to think what goes through your head. It's almost like that just happens because you've put yourself in that position over and over again in training or in games. So it's just constantly, as I'm receiving it, is making sure I catch the ball and then making sure I make a good decision for the team.